Okay, welcome back everybody. It's a beautiful lunch we had. So, before we get started, I just want to run through this. It's always good to give you an overall picture of what we're doing here today and what self-mastery is all about. Okay? So here you can see one thing you're guaranteed to have in this world is problems. Okay, so it's all about how you perceive this from now on. To me, when I see a problem, when people come to me and my students, and you'll know this, Solvay, like, I love it, you know, because it's an opportunity. Every problem presents an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow and learn. Okay, and the more problems that you begin to solve, and you know, I've solved this problem, okay, then the more confidence is going to grow within you. Confidence is only going to come from application. So here we have a list of problems. We have emotional problems. We all have emotional problems because we're all emotional beings. We have physical problems because we're in a physical body, and that body is going to give us problems. We have daily problems. And these are problems that can come up, you know, during the day, external problems, a problem with this, a problem with this, a problem with this, and it's basically we have a tool to look and help us to deal with that. Then we have relationship problems, and we all have relationship problems. We have judgmental problems. Why? Because we're all in a mind that gives us judgmental problems. And then one thing we all are, we're all projectors, and that means we're all going to have projection problems. And what is a projection problem?
You don't want to see your own part in it?
No.
It's outside.
Your reactions. That becomes a problem. The way you react to things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, without being specific or going into any stories, okay? Your projections cause reactions inside you, isn't that true? And that reaction then becomes a problem, doesn't it? So the good news about this, and this is what this is all about level 2, is that we have the tools to deal with all of this. So your emotional problems are dealt with through complete forgiveness, and we're going to do that now in a second. Yeah? Physical problems. Anybody? Daily problems.
Is there a pattern emerging here? Complete forgiveness?
Self-detachment. We'll be doing that also today. Alright, that's a great, unbelievable tool to help you to deal with any problem you're going to encounter from now on. Then you have relationship problems. Anybody? Salvi? You're supposed to be using this.
You're special.
Self-empowerment deals specifically with your special relationships. Okay? Judgmental problems. Simple forgiveness. And then your projection problems. And we did that this morning. ATF. Okay? So this, if you're able to master all of these tools, okay, then there's not a situation that you cannot deal with in this world efficiently like that, like that, like that. Because that's what this is all about at these two levels. It's about the correction, the correction, the correction. It's not about the error. You know, don't hammer yourself for making any errors or slip-ups or mistakes. You know, always about the correction. Always see every error as an opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity. People used to come to me with problems and I would say, that's good. You're feeling this way. Because now we can do something with this. Because, you know, if it's all theory, if you're not feeling this, if you're not reacting, if you're not having problems that you can't deal with, then, you know, you're dead. You're not living. You know, this is all about at this stage to deal with everything as it comes up. Master this. So that's what we're going to move to now. We're going to deal with emotional problems. Because these two are really powerful tools if you can get to master and learn them. Okay? Everybody got that? We'll come back to it a few times. So, complete forgiveness. So let's look at the metaphysics. What makes complete forgiveness, right? And you all know this. The central idea for lesson 5, I'm never upset for the reason I think. What's another name for that? What's the metaphysics of it? I'm never upset for the reason I think. Every time you think you know why you're upset, what are you doing?
Rationalizing.
Yes. That's what this lesson, that's the metaphysics of this lesson, lesson 5. Okay? So, it's important that you know that. That's one part of this. Then let's move on to the other idea. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. Very important part of complete forgiveness. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. That means if I can bring anything, any illusion, to the truth, that's the correction. It will correct all errors. And then finally, you have, I choose the joy of God instead of pain. This is your choice at the end of this. You can as easy choose joy as much as you can choose pain. It's even easier because it's natural for you to be joyous. It's unnatural for you to be in pain. So why do we choose pain? You have to ask, who is choosing the pain? The false image. Why? Because that's life to the false image. You see, there's a line in the Course that says, where there's pain, there's no God. And when there's God, there's no pain. So that means when a false image is in the presence of God, there's no false image. It doesn't exist. No illusions exist. Life to the false image is pain. The more pain you are in, the more alive the false image feels. So you know people who cut themselves. They do it so they can feel alive. That's a false image. It needs that energy. So, always look at this when you're in pain. Have you made the decision for pain? Be honest. No, you haven't. Who in their right mind, get it? Who in their right mind would choose pain? Just in your right mind. So this is always a part of you has made this choice. And it's important that you take that responsibility. This is not someone else's part of you that made this choice. And that's what we're trying to do. We're making this choice for pain and then we're blaming someone else for it. That's the false image's game. It wants to be in pain, it feels alive, but it knows that you do not. So it plays this game of getting you to think that this pain is caused by someone or something else. That's what the rationalization is. Just take a moment. Can you get that little game in your head? False image, unknowns to you, makes a choice to do something that's going to cause pain. You're not aware of this. Right? Pain comes. Now the false image, I'll tell you a story of where this pain's come and who's to blame for it. And you think that this has just happened now and it's this person's fault. That's the rationalizer, the same false image.
I for a long time thought that the food was the cause of my stomach pain.
Yeah, cause and effect reversed.
Yeah.
So, what I'm just doing here, in complete forgiveness, I'm just setting all the metaphysics of what's happening. It was kind of like the false image this morning. I was showing you the motives behind the false image and the special relationship. It's always seeking to get or to get something. So what I'm really doing here, I'm just revealing the dark secrets of the ego so everybody can start to learn from this what is really going on here. Okay? So, you can easily make the choice here. That's what this is in here. You can choose the joy of God as easy as you can choose the rationalizer, the lying, the dishonesty part. So it looks like something like this. I haven't done this diagram in a long time. So, this is our emotional center, okay? But also what holds in here is choice. This is our rat. I normally call this, what's rat short for? Rationalization. This is our rationalization, and this is the truth. So again, let's look at the source. The ego thought system is built upon three thoughts: sin, guilt, fear. And every emotion, like I was talking about this morning, comes from these three thoughts. These are the three blocks to love. Remember, this is a course in removing the blocks to love, isn't it? I put this up in the Genesis group. Did anybody see it? Put it up on Friday when I got here.
No.
You see it, Sophie? No? You see it? No, you don't look at it? No? I put up the question, what are the blocks to love?
Yeah.
This is a course in removing the blocks to love. These are the three blocks to love here. But you can't get at them. If you could, you'd stick dynamite in there and blow them out of the way, but you can't. So this is a course in removing the blocks to love. That's in the introduction, right at the beginning. Okay? So how do we remove these three blocks? You have to understand the law of cause and effect. What makes an effect is that it has a cause. What has no effect has no cause, right? So this is the cause, and this is all the effects. So, what happens if you remove the effects? Bingo. There's no cause. Because there has to be effects for cause to take place. So here's the thing. This is the illusion, sin. There is no sin. But we have made it real by making its effects real. Guilt and fear. Yeah? So, when all our emotions are coming from this belief, we can't get to see that there is no separation because fear and guilt stand in the way. So these are the two big blocks. So where there was three blocks, now we know there's two blocks. But let's keep going. Let's say you take away fear. Fear is the effect of guilt. That means there's no guilt. Because if there's no fear, there can't be no guilt. If there's no guilt, that means the separation never took place. So all you have to do, in theory, is remove one of these blocks, and they all fall down. So you can see it gets simpler and simpler the more you get your head around this. It's not such a big deal, it's not such a big task after all. Because this is what the whole ego thought system is built upon, is sin, guilt and fear. And it's built on nothing. Nothing. Which means that the only place that you can really stick it to the ego is here. This is the battleground that you're going to wage this battle, this emotional battle that you have. So let's look at, say, one of the emotions that's rampant in the world, okay? Anger. And what we do is we rationalize that anger. We have the choice. We can rationalize it. And we do this in our relationships, okay? We're angry at someone. I'm only angry because I love you. You know, I've only killed you because I love you so badly. It's not my fault. It's your fault. You know? So, anger is always an attempt by you to displace your guilt onto someone else. So, we have another choice. We can bring it to the truth. And what is the truth of all anger? Guilt. Or, over here, it could be blame. We project it onto our family, our friends, politicians, teachers, whatever, doesn't matter. So right here, now you have choice. What do you want to do with this? You want to bring it to the truth? Or you want to project it out? And at least if you're going to project it out onto someone, be honest with yourself. You know, there's my shit that I want, I'm giving it to you. But then follow through. Know that it's going to come back to you again. And do you really want it to come back to you and have to deal with all this over again? You know, that's what this is all about. You're in that hamster wheel of blame. You can't escape pain in blame. Okay? Let's say another one that people feel is loneliness. And we blame it on other people, we blame it on our family. My family won't speak to me. My boyfriend won't speak to me. My wife won't speak to me. I'm feeling lonely even in the relationship. What's the truth of loneliness? Where does its source come from? Separation. Or we can project it onto people. Or places. This place that I'm living, I'm very lonely in it because I don't know anybody. You know, so loneliness and the sense of abandonment comes up. All these emotions. Any other emotion anybody think of? Don't be shy.
Emotions,
Yeah.
depression,
Mm-hmm. Why would you be depressed? Why are we depressed? Lost my job, lost my relationship, lost my home to the banks. Why else would we be depressed? You know, there's many reasons, but depression always comes from
from
loss,
loss.
right? That's over here. So what have we lost here? We've lost our connection. Everybody in the world's fucking depressed. Everybody. There's nobody here that's not depressed. This is why we go out to make ourselves feel better all the time. Get ourselves a boyfriend, get ourselves a girlfriend, get a new car, get a new house, let's go on holiday, have to go to the gym, have to go to work, busyness, blah, 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 blah. This is all the distraction to keep us away from that depression. People who are depressed are being honest. You know, it's pretty fucking depressing to be in the ego thought system because A, you feel separate, which means you're going to feel guilty, you're going to feel fearful, you're going to feel all these emotions. And I mean, if that's not depression, you know, I don't know what is depression. So you can see now why the incentive is to always, we have to work to make ourselves feel good, isn't that right? We have to fucking work hard to make ourselves feel good. So we're kind of fighting this battle. And it's all coming from something that doesn't exist. You know? A thought that doesn't exist. A concept that could never happen. It's impossible that the separation could ever happen if you wanted it. I'm sorry to tell you that. You're stuck with bliss for eternity. You know? Tough. So, you know, depression can come from anything. And all that's being revealed when you are depressed is what you thought was making you happy is not there anymore. You know, that's all that's happened. And it's inevitable that people will go through life and you won't feel depressed at some stage or another. Because you're not going to get everything you want all the time. You know, you're going to be left in that spaces, and some people are in this space for a long time. You know, they're in that depression for a long time, they can't get out of it. And, you know, there is a way out of it. If you look at the metaphysics of depression, depression means you're definitely out of your center, for a start. It means you're in the shadow. And being in the shadow is a tough place. The longer you stay in it, the harder it is to motivate yourself to get out, because it's debilitating. And I'm sure you all know someone at some stage who's been deeply depressed, and it's been a tough battle to get them out, like, you know. So that's what's happening metaphysically. But what you can do, there's a short, you know, the good thing about knowing all the rules is you can break the rules every so often, like, you know, you can do shortcuts. And what I've said to a few people, and some people have taken me up on it and it's worked, some people didn't take me up because it was too fearful. For example, I told a person to jump out of a plane. I didn't mean to jump out of one that's going from here to Ibiza or here to Dublin or anything like that, to do a skydive. You know, to get that buzz, get that adrenaline, because you see, when you go into that adrenaline buzz, when you come into the now, it brings you out of the depression, brings you out, you come into your center. And you're actually nearly in level 3 at this stage. You know, you'll have come into here, and you'll have went up into there. And this is why people love extreme sports, because it brings them into the present moment. It's so terrifying. You look at a car crash, anybody ever in a car crash? Time just slows down. It's just like slow action, isn't it? You know, and that's what we can do. And the reason that happens is they're a protective device for you to give you time to protect yourself in this. That's a part of your mind being able to do this. It's automatic like this in people. So, you know, adrenaline, getting into the moment, you know, getting into a fast car, into a speedboat, you know, anything. I'm not saying to jump off a cliff or anything like that, but if you can do something that can just basically raise the vibration, bring you into the now, that will basically bring you out of that, out of the depression also. So the list goes on in this, and we'll be doing more on this tomorrow, because this is also a part of the miracle. It's also part of the undoing process that Jesus is talking about in those 3 sections. So, you know, is there any other emotion that anybody would like?
Boredom.
Boredom?
Boredom.
Why would you be bored?
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you be bored? I'm asking you the question.
No.
What do you mean by boredom? What would you be doing? You see, the beauty about this world is, and I think it was, there's nothing never happening. Do you know? There's nothing never happening. I mean, you know, you could be sitting anywhere on a park bench and just look around, you look at people, look deeper into people, what they're doing, reacting, look at nature. You know, I'd be sitting in a restaurant, I'd be listening to a conversation next door to me, and they're having a conversation here, and I hear everything up here. I did it one night back years ago, and these 2 girls were having a conversation, very meaningful conversation, and I walked out there knowing everything about them. I walked out there knowing more about them than what they knew about themselves. You know? So when you really get into this, I know what you're saying, you know, boredom, you have nothing to do. You have no motivation. So it could also be a form of depression that you're in. there's plenty to do. Waking up would be a big part of that. You know, so it's really kind of, boredom would be no different than depression. So who wants to be bored? But then you're going to pay a price for that also, so you're asking for guilt because you're being bored in the shadow, in the depression, and what else is in there? You see, you have to be very careful. The room that you choose, you have to look at who your friends is going to be in that room. You know, if you're going to be in the good room, then you're going to be a victim. And you're going to feel fear, anxiety. You know, do you really want to be in that room? In the other room, you're going to be depressed, feeling guilty, a bad person. So this is the choices, you know, that's everybody out there in the street, you could say, who is unconsciously or spiritually asleep. That's the choices they're making every day. And then they're in this desperate search for happiness, for true love, for peace of mind. And they're never going to find it. Because the rule, and you can write this down, is everything you seek for externally, you will be a victim of. Fact. Everything you seek for. You might get what you want, but in some way you will pay a price for that. You'll be a victim of that. You know, you might want, okay, my dreams, I want to win the lottery. But the price you pay for that then is trust goes out the window. You know, who are you going to meet new now that you're not going to think is friends with you for your money? People who won the lottery become more isolated and more separate from everybody around them, their family, their friends. You know, and this is what people dream of winning the lottery. There was a survey done of lottery winners. You know, and lottery winners are committing suicide. Because you see, we have this idea that if we only had the money, we'd be happy. If I won the lottery, that's it. All my worries are over. Man, they're only starting. You know, because that's the last thing that you need if that's your state of mind. And when people have this mentality, people are dreamers by nature, and everybody's dreaming of that perfect love, that perfect happiness, that perfect home. Where would you love to live? You know, what's your ideal place? You have all of this already in your minds, and you'll do anything to attain this. But that's going to come with a price, a heavy price. There's nothing that you seek for externally you will not be a victim of. Fact. Just know that. You know, you could be searching for the perfect guy, and he might look perfect in every way. Until you get in a little bit deeper and you'll see many flaws that's in there. So is everything you dream of, you know, it's like, you know, some men want this perfect image of a woman on their shoulder. You know, just the image of the woman. And they get it. But, you know, there's a price to pay for what's behind that image. And the ego will make them people pay a heavy price for that. You know, so you're a victim of everything you seek for. So getting back to our complete forgiveness. Okay? Happy with that? Right. Want to move on to... I just want to do everything in this checklist. So, we have done ATF, and we have done that, and we also do physical problems. Okay, so let me just do that. And we'll be doing a lot of this tomorrow also. So we didn't do this here. Pain in the body. So we can rationalize our pain in the body. Does anybody experience some pain in the body?
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody.
There's a process involved in this, and what you're going to do with this at the very beginning is you're going to intellectualize it, the separate mind. You see, the rationalization is that the pain is coming from the body, it's in the world, and this is what's the world or somebody in the world or myself is causing this pain in the body. That's the rationalization. As long as you keep thinking like that, you're going to always keep the pain in the body. Remember what we talked about last night? Everything rationalized negative, you keep. So all of these emotions that you rationalize, you keep them. You know, that's the price you're paying here. You're just regurgitating the same energy over and over and over again. Comes into the body, you project it out. Comes into the body, comes back, you project it out. Comes back and you project it out, and that's it. You know, and that causes a lot of energy. Loss for you, makes you tired, but it also feeds the false image and the ego. So what you do with the pain, you must feel it. Become one with it. And like I say, we're going to be doing this tomorrow. We'll be doing it in the miracle. Because complete forgiveness is very similar to the miracle. Okay? And what you do is, you just immerse yourself, like we did this morning with awareness. You remove awareness from every part of your body. Every single part of your body. And if the pain stays in your knee, then you bring every part of your awareness to that. And you become one. Mix your energy, your awareness, which is of God, by the way. We're learning this, it's a gift from God. You bring this awareness to the exact point where the pain is. Here's the key. Everybody's trying to get rid of the pain, but the bliss is inside the pain. When you try to get rid of the pain, you're also trying to get rid of the bliss. That's the ego's objective. So when you become one with the pain, all right, pain cannot exist in oneness. Oneness is of God. So, if you have pain in your knee, and you become one with it, and that pain's still there, you're not one with it. Stay with it as long as it takes, and do this as many times until that pain in your knee dissolves with your awareness. Now what you're doing is you're using the body, you're using this, basically what you see as a bad thing, and what's it teaching you? It's teaching you to become one with yourself, to become one with awareness. I always take responsibility for everything, but I didn't take responsibility for something there for the last couple of years, which was my teeth. I didn't see a dentist for 3 years, and I got a bad toothache just a week before I was leaving Ibiza. And that gave me the golden opportunity to use complete forgiveness, because it was a root canal and my tooth, or the canal was inflamed, it was infected. It was very painful, very painful. And would have been about an 8 or a 9 on a threshold of 10. But I used complete forgiveness with it for the first time. And it was truly an amazing experience. I brought all my awareness into where the tooth was. And then I swam in it. I stayed in it for about 5 minutes. And then I brought it to the truth that this pain was coming from my belief that I'm separate from God. And all of a sudden, it was like air. I could feel it like a balloon. You know the way air would come out of a balloon? You could feel it? That was like that. It was like the energy. What was happening was I was dissolving the pain body. Just in a few seconds, and you could feel it dissipating, 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 dissipating. And about a couple of seconds later, no pain whatsoever. Gone. That's the best painkiller in the world. Without a doubt. See, when you master this, you will never need to take another painkiller. Swear to God. Because the way this is on level 2, there's no sickness. Because there's no sickness in God. So if you want the minimum that you can do here is get to level 2. The maximum you can do is get to level 3. So if you can even achieve the minimum, you're going to have a wonderful and amazing life for the rest of your life. And I'm talking, anybody can put their mind to this from starting to end in 2 years. Preferably 3 years. Because, you know, it depends, you know, for new students coming in on this, I would say start 3 years, start with the book Wake Up, spend a year doing that. Spend a year doing Genesis, and then spend a year doing the Metaphysics of the workbook, and I guarantee you, by the end of those 3 years, you're going to be in the happy dream. You know, and that's beautiful to know that there's a finality to this. That it's not something, oh, I need to do this and hope maybe in 5 or 10 years something will happen. That's gone. Don't sit hoping anymore. Make this happen. You know, you can make these 10 corrections. You can make this. This is simple, it's clear, and it's specific. The only thing that's missing here for this to work for you is your willpower. There's a part of you that's going to resist this, that's not going to do this. Can't do it, won't do it. And it basically will either scare you to not doing it, or it'll be cunning and devious. You know, but it'll learn you, even that part of the ego will teach you to be more vigilant and check everything out and take responsibility for every thought you have. And you must keep checking yourself all the time. So again, pain in the body. Beautiful, beautiful opportunity for you to learn oneness, to become one with that pain. Because if you can become one with the pain, you can become one with the bliss underneath the pain. That's the key here. Both are the same. Because it's the pain that's covering up the bliss. Okay? So I want to move now to the next one.